Hi everyone, it's Melissa from In Charge Coaching, and today we are talking about strategic planning. More specifically, three common mistakes I often see, how they affect our team engagement, and ways that we can avoid them. So I'm talking about this today because it's that time of the year where we are thinking about the future. We're looking ahead, we're thinking about 2021 and what that looks like for us. And that often prompts us to tap into that strategic planning. So if you're joining me, say hi, let me know that you're here, where you're from. If you're watching on the replay, #replay, I'm going to just take a moment here to share this to my group. So bear with me one quick sec. If you're here, say hi. This is a great time to do that. When it comes to strategic planning, if you have any questions, drop me a comment. I'm able to see the comments and I love engagement. So I'm going to share this to my group right now. Share. All right, and we're a go. So again, for those who don't know me, my name is Melissa, and what I do is I work with managers and team leaders. I help them build high-performing teams, teams that do not burn out, while positioning them as valued change makers in their organizations. And so in order to lead with strategy is very important. And so strategic planning is a subject that we talk about. And so because the questions have been coming in, I thought I would just do a video and address some of these. So first off, the three common mistakes that we see. I'm going to go through the three common mistakes. I'm going to talk about how they're affecting the team and how you can avoid them, so a different way that you can approach it. So the first common mistake that I see is planning behind closed doors, meaning we sit there, we think deeply with our pen, our paper, and we come up with the perfect plan. We may do some research, we have a perfectly drawn up document that we then emerge from our office and deliver to our team. And this is fantastic, except for one thing. It limits autonomy. It limits our team's involvement in the planning process, and that impacts motivation and it can create resistance. So if you're of the mindset that, hey, my team members are paid to show up and do their job, you will get exactly that, someone who's paid to show up and do their job and do as much as needed to get paid. But if you want them excited and really passionate about the plan, you gotta bring them in that planning process. And that can create a little bit of fear when we think about bringing in our team into that planning process. Often the fear is, are we gonna have too many cooks in the kitchen? And are we gonna get stuck in ideation? So here, what's important is you are the vision. You are bringing the vision, you are clarifying the mission, and how you want to involve your team is the how we're getting there. So you want to make sure that the vision that you're painting is very clear, but you're leaving room to build the how with them. So what you need to do that is three things. You're going to need to facilitate trust. You're going to need to guide a strategic conversation and capture value from it. And how you do that, some people like to bring in outside consultants like myself to facilitate that conversation, or to build up those skills. So to give you an inside view of maybe what I do, I often will work with managers either right there on the front lines, partnering with them and helping them create those conversations, or I work with them behind the scenes in building up the skills for them to go ahead and do that. So that was mistake number one, planning behind closed doors. And how to avoid some of that resistance is bringing in the team and getting them involved in that planning process. So the second common mistake that I see, and this is a trap that I've fallen into quite a bit in my past, was making the plan too linear. So being very detailed in going, this is where we're at, this is where we're going, these are exactly the steps we need to get there, which is fantastic. Make it actionable. But the plan that we create today for the future, in a month's time, in 6 months' time, in a year's time, the conditions around us will have changed, especially when we're dealing with a changing market and changes happening at an unprecedented speed at this moment with the pandemic. And so the future, it looks different every day. So if I make the perfect plan today and it's too linear, as things change, your team is going to get surprised by the changes, they're going to freeze, and they may not know what to do or how to shift, how to pivot. So then we get stuck in that surprise and we become distracted. So how to avoid this is to create more options. So to create many paths. If you can think of a bowling alley, we want to, that strategic plan should have that nice building, but you want to make sure that you have different lanes. So you pick a lane, but the option of switching lanes if needed. So you don't have to leave the building, you can easily shift and pivot. If you want to amp up the ante on this, there are futurists that actually do this type of work, that look at market trends and help build options for a better future. So if you're looking for a name of a futurist, I have a few that I like to work with that are fantastic. So the second problem was being too linear, and the fix for that is having more options. So enabling more options within the strategic plan. The third problem, the third common mistake, is having that perfect plan, having spent all the time involving your team, and then putting that plan in a drawer, closing the drawer and leaving it there for the year. So the problem with that is we forget. If we're not constantly reminded of why we're doing what we're doing, we forget. So that leaves us with maybe questions as to what should be priority and getting distracted by the day-to-day rather than keeping our eye on what is actually going to move us forward, move us towards change and growth. So the fix for that is having the habit of taking it out. I would say at least quarterly, if not more often, depending on the type of business, the type of changes that you're implementing. So you want to make sure that you keep bringing it out, you keep looking at that vision, you keep looking at that mission with your team, and keeping that excitement, that excitement for the future and that optimism. So what we're doing when we're taking out that plan quarterly is we're taking a look at the future, and we're also reflecting what's working, what's not working, and what do we want to adjust, which is kind of bringing us back into that second problem that I was talking about of being too linear, is where we keep reflecting and looking at our options. So we want to make this a cyclical process of we create the plan, we engage the plan, and then we keep reflecting on it, and we go and then we re-engage and we activate and we go back to that reflection often, so we keep moving forward. So I hope this was helpful, and let me know. This is probably going to be my last live before the holidays, unless I receive more questions about strategic planning. I would love to do a follow-up video on this, and I will see you in the next live in the new year. So have a great one. Happy holidays, everyone.